ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, verse number 22. Please repeat after me. Vasansi jirnani yatha vihaya navani grinati naro parani तथा शरीराणि विहाय जीर्णानि अन्यानि संयाति नवानि देहि। वासांसि जीर्णानि यथा विहाय नवानि गृह्णाति नरोपराणि तथा शरीराणि विहाय जीर्णानि अन्यानि संयाति नवानि देहि। वासांसि जीर्णानि यथा विहाय नवानि गृह्णाति नरोपराणि तथा शरीराणि विहाय जीर्णानि अन्यानि संयाति नवानि देहि। Vasamsi, garments, jirnani, old and worn out, yatha, as it is, vihaya, giving up, navani, new garments, grihnati, does accept, Naraha, a man, other, Tatha, embodied. Translation by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Shri Radha Gopinath ki. So kindly repeat after me. As a person puts on new garments, giving up old ones, similarly, the soul accepts new material bodies, giving up the old and useless ones. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurvani Pracharane Nirvishesh Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarane. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. As a person puts on new garments, giving up old ones, similarly, the soul accepts new material bodies, giving up the old and useless ones. So in this verse from the second chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna is going ahead from what he has already said in the 13th shloka of the same chapter, where he describes Dehinosmin yatha dehe Kaumaram Yauvanam Jara Tatha Dehantara Praptihir Dhiras Tatra Namuhyati. He says that just as in this life the soul is changing bodies from boyhood to youth to old age, similarly at the time of death the soul also changes bodies and gets a new body, and a self-realized soul is not bewildered by such a change. So in this verse Lord Krishna is explaining how that change is taking place. It is just as if the soul is shedding off a garment Just like when you come home at the end of the day, you change your clothes. You shed your old clothes which are worn out or which are dirty, and you don a fresh set of clothes. Similarly, the soul, it sheds the old body just as we shed garments, and it accepts a new body just like we wear new clothes. So this is the process that is given here. So the material body is compared to a dress that the soul is wearing. Now this fundamental knowledge about the body being the dress and the soul being the self is not at all available in society at large today. Only a very small proportion of people in the world have any degree of understanding about the real nature of the self. Everybody is laboring under the illusion that I am this body, I am this dress. Just as if somebody says I am this coat or I am this shirt, we can understand that he is not in his senses. So the whole world is simply laboring under the illusion that we are this coat or we are this shirt. If you are hungry and I give you an offer to wash your shirt and pant and I wash it very nicely, is your hunger going to be satisfied? If you are very thirsty, is your thirst going to be quenched if I wash your clothes? Similarly, in this world, all of us are spiritually hungry. Srila Prabhupada used to say that everyone in this world is searching for God. It is only that some people realize it and some people don't. Some know it and some don't, but everyone is factually searching for God because everyone is searching for happiness. And happiness can be found only in God because God is the ocean, is a reservoir of all happiness and pleasure. So we are looking for God even without knowing it. So because there is no information about any spiritual life or about the soul easily available in the material world, therefore everyone is under this illusion that I am the coat. And all these so-called humanitarian, philanthropic activities that go under various labels of socialism, altruism, nationalism, humanism, all these isms, communism, socialism, democracy, they are simply different ways to wash the coat, to wash the shirt. But no amount of change here and there, no amount of detergent, even if you get the best detergent in the market, you are still going to remain hungry. So in this way, the basic solution to the problems of man have remained hidden from the general mass of people and from the leaders at large. So therefore the solution is to understand that I am the soul and I am not the body. I must feed the soul. This is the solution. And then we will all become happy in this world. What is the meaning of advancement in this world? Advancement means to move from one illusion to a deeper illusion. That is all that is going on. Our whole advancement is based upon a fundamental illusion that I am this coat. So what is the meaning of this progress? It is not any progress at all. Some years back, before the partition of India and Pakistan in 1947, there used to be clashes between Hindus and Muslims, but there were sporadic clashes here and there, some communal clashes here and there all over the country, the subcontinent. But now, after the division of the two countries, there is regular organized fighting. It is fighting which is now assumed very high proportions, so much more tension. And if a fighting does break out, it will be of epic proportions. So this is our progress. On the basis of the shirt and the basis of the dress, we are making divisions. Yes, now you are Pakistani, you are Indian, you are this, you are that, and then we are fighting. Red shirt, you are red shirt, I am white shirt, therefore we will fight. So this is the meaning of our progress that is based upon the illusion that I am the coat. So real knowledge begins when we understand that I have to really feed myself, the soul. And if everyone in the world follows this policy, then we will all become happy in life. So here the dress, the body being compared to a dress, we can stretch the analogy a little further. Let us say you have your shirt. How do you get your shirt made? The shirt is made either in the factory or by your tailor. When you go to the tailor, you give him some cloth, and then he takes your measurement. After taking the measurement, he cuts the cloth according to your body size and your shape. He doesn't simply put the cloth just like that. So similarly, the body is also like a dress. The body is made up of matter, and this matter is growing around the soul. We have seen in the earlier sessions how the soul is transferred to the mother's womb at the time of conception, and right from that time onwards, the various ingredients within the mother's womb are accumulating around the spirit soul. That is called the embryo. And the embryo grows into the fetus, the child in the womb. And in this way, depending on the nutrition of the mother and the health of the mother, the child will grow. So the body is accumulating around the soul. Matter cannot accumulate or grow by itself. It has to have spirit or soul within it or controlling it to be able to grow. So in this way, the body is growing up around the soul, just like the shirt is made to suit your body. It is cut according to the size of your body. The shirt has 2 hands because the body has 2 hands. The pant has 2 legs because the legs are shaped like that. So in this way, the whole the shirt, the pant, the trousers are all made according to the body. Similarly, the soul, the body is also made according to the soul. In other words, when we see that the body has a form, we should understand that the soul also has a form. It is logical. If the body is compared to a dress, then naturally the soul must also have a form. But we are apt to consider the form of the soul as being something of this world. But no, the soul is said to be very tiny in size. Do you remember from the earlier discussions how large or how tiny the soul is? Anyone? Yes? 1/10,000th of the tip of a hair. That is the size of the soul. So you can see, if you want to see the shape, the form of the soul, it will be very difficult. You cannot see it even with the most powerful microscope. So this form is very, very tiny. We cannot see it, but it is there. And if it were not there, the body would not have size. It would not have shape. So because the soul is very tiny, it has a tiny form. It is in seed form. We cannot understand what that form is. So the soul has form and it has personality. And it is around this form and personality that the material body is growing. It is described in the Katha Upanishad that Anayor Aniyan Mahato Mahiyan. The spirit soul is very, very tiny. It is tinier than the atom. And God is Mahato Mahiyan. He is greater than the greatest. So there are 2 kinds of souls. One is the individual spirit soul. We have seen this earlier. Who is very tiny, the individual Jivatma. And the other spirit soul is the Paramatma, supreme soul, the super soul of the Paramatma who is inside the heart. So both these souls exist, but one is very, very tiny. Seed form is he's existing within the heart. And the other, although he is within the heart and the size of the thumb, but he is also Mahato Mahiyan. He is greater than the greatest because he is all powerful. So in the Mundaka Upanishad it is described that these 2 souls, the individual Jivatma and the Paramatma, are residing within the heart. And the Jivatma is desiring various desires. Lord Krishna, as the Paramatma within the heart, is fulfilling or sanctioning the desires, and Prakriti or the material nature is supplying the appropriate material body for the Jivatma to fulfill the desires that he had, and that was sanctioned by the Lord. So therefore the heart is considered to be the center of all activities of the body, because both the Jivatma and the Paramatma are there. We have seen earlier also how the 2 birds, one of them representing the Jivatma, is always restless, always going from one branch to the other branch and tasting the various fruits of the tree on which it is seated. And the Paramatma, the other bird, is simply silently watching as a witness and the sanctioner. Upadrashta Anumantacha, Bharta Bhokta Maheshwaraha, Paramatmeti Chapyukto Purushaha Parasa, Dehismin Purusha Paraha. So he is the Upadrashta, Anumanta. He is the witness. He is present within the heart and he is the Lord. He is the master and he is called the Paramatma, the supreme enjoyer. So he is silently witnessing the activities of the soul, the other bird, who is simply flying here and there in his quest for enjoyment, but he is not finding happiness. So this is the position of the 2 souls within. So all this is going on within the heart. So the heart is considered to be the center of activities of the body, just like the office. So the heart is considered like an office, because an office is where you do all your work, isn't it? And then the office, how does the office work? It works through the agency of some employees, like the managers. So the heart is working through the agency of the brain. And the brain is then is giving so many signals to the body to work. So the brain is considered to be like the manager. And all this is going on under certain direction. Just like there may be so many managers and there is an office, but there has to be a managing director. There has to be a boss. So Lord Krishna within the heart is the supreme director or the managing director. So all these things are going on, and this way the whole body is functioning. So in this situation we can see that the Jivatma is desiring and Lord Krishna as the Paramatma is fulfilling the desire. That is the function of the Paramatma, simply to fulfill the desire of the Jivatma. From time immemorial, the Paramatma has been performing this function. Now the Paramatma is very close to the Jivatma, and he is a well-wisher and friend of the Jivatma. In fact, the word is used as Suhrid, Suhridam Sarva Bhutanam. That the Supreme Lord as the Paramatma is the Suhrida of the Jivatma. In Sanskrit, for a similar kind of relationships, there are many, many words. For example, for friend, in English there is only one word, friend. But in Sanskrit there are many words to describe what kind of friend you are, isn't it? For example, in your official life, in your business life or your professional life, you may have some friends. But in your private life, you have some other kind of friends. And in your family life, some other kind of friendship. So those people who are your social friends, they are called mitra in Sanskrit. Those people who are your official friends, they are called bandhu. Just like India says, okay, now we are friendly with America, or Hindi Chini bhai bhai. So the relationship between different countries, and the prime ministers are establishing friendship. So that is bandhu, official friendship. When it comes little closer, it is social friendship. You know him well enough. You are good terms, you can phone and talk also, sometimes you meet also. But it is still not very intimate. But somebody who is very, very close to you, maybe related to you as father, mother, wife, husband, child, they serve in different capacities, but they are still friends because they are your well-wishers. They really care for you. Therefore, that closer relationship of one who is your real well-wisher is called a Suhrida. So, Lord Krishna says, I am the Suhrida Sarva Bhutana. I am not only the friend, but I am such a friend that I am the supreme well-wisher of everyone. He is not like the friend of modern times. The friend of modern times is what? You scratch my back, I scratch your back. Isn't it? So long as you are helpful to me in my sense enjoyment, and you are good to me, then you are my friend. And so long as you are not, if you become an interference in my sense gratification and in my own independent plans for enjoyment, then you become my enemy. Don't we see this happening all the time in political circles? How many people form alliances, now they're best of friends, and before you know it, tomorrow they've become greatest of enemies. Again, day after tomorrow, when it suits them, they are friends, they all join together in the same political party, they go up. So at a personal level, social level, politically, nationally, internationally, the same game is going on. So this friendship is not real friendship. So Suhrida, Lord Krishna, is the real friend of the well-wishers. And therefore he is fulfilling the desires, just like a father will fulfill the desires of the child. Now the father wants to discipline the child, but at the same time when the child grows up, he knows that he cannot force, because by force a child is not going to learn, so he gives him some degree of independence. Okay, you go out, you do this, but you will suffer and then you will realize that it is wrong. So in this way, Lord Krishna is fulfilling from time immemorial all the desires of the living entity. The constitutional position of the Jivatma is Satchitananda, eternal, full of knowledge and full of bliss, and he is situated in the spiritual world, enjoying an eternal life of bliss with the Supreme Lord. But sometime when he developed an independent desire to enjoy separately from the Lord, he was sent here to this material world because of the desire for independent enjoyment. Purushaha prakriti sthohi bhunkte prakriti jan gunan karanam gunasangosya sad asad yoni janmasu. Lord Krishna explains that when the Jivatma develops the desire for independent enjoyment, he is immediately sent into the material world. And then once he comes into contact with the material environment, then immediately he has to occupy a material body. And once he gets the material body, then vasamsi jirnani, That means you have to keep changing material bodies, because the soul is eternal and the material forms of which the body is made is temporary. So we are here in this material world because we want to exploit the resources of this material nature for our enjoyment. We want to enjoy this material world. So we are here with a material body. So if you want to enjoy the material world, you have to have a material body. So one after the other, vasamsi jirnani yatha vihaya. If you want to enjoy spiritual life or spiritual pleasure, you must have a spiritual body. So this spiritual life, what we are practicing now, this Krishna consciousness, although you can experience that spiritual bliss even here within this body, ultimately what we are doing now is a preparation for receiving or reviving our original spiritual body in the spiritual world. Because real spiritual bliss can be experienced only with the revival of the spiritual body, that is Satchitananda. So we are now preparing for that change, final change of body. We have changed many bodies now for all these millions of lifetimes in this material world. But now our goal of life is to finally change that body only once more and get that Satchidananda Vigraha, that spiritual body once and for all. So if you want spiritual happiness, we must learn the technique of how to get a spiritual body. But because there is not much information available to the general man, they have no concept or no conception that there is something higher in life. So everyone is simply running after the material pleasures of this world, which are a cause of bondage. And therefore, birth after birth, we have to accept newer and newer material bodies. Vasamsi jirnani yatha vihaya. So the cause of our change of bodies is that we want to enjoy this material world. We do not want to surrender to Lord Krishna. So this is our folly. And accepting a material body means suffering. So any intelligent person, he will understand that I do not want to keep changing dresses like this. So I want to have a final situation that will be permanently happy and blissful. This is the goal of our life. So here Lord Krishna is explaining about the dress. Now how do we get different kinds of dresses? So many different kinds of dresses are there which to choose from. The soul is coming into the material world, but how to know which dress is appropriate? The material world is compared to a shop of dresses, just like the body is compared to the dress, and this material world is like a shop for dresses, like you go to any garment shop. So many famous garment shops are there, clothing shops, suiting, shirtings. So this material world is like that. When you go into a shop and the salesman is there, yes, which one do you want? You want silk, you want cotton, polyester, or you want ready-made jeans, you want shirt, you want this, that. So many varieties are available. And initially, when you go in, you do not know what to buy. So many wonderful varieties, you want everything. But you know that for each type of enjoyment, you want a different kind. So what are the varieties available? Just like in a dress shop, you have so many different varieties. In the dress shop of this material world, what are the different varieties available? That is listed out here. In this board here, you can see that from Padma Puran, we have put certain information. In the Padma Puran, it is described that there are 84 lakh species of life. Can everyone see this board? 84 lakh species of life, or 84 lakh different types of dresses are available. So wide choice. Is there any shop, cloth shop, where you can get 84 lakh varieties of clothes? But just see the wonderful cloth shop that Lord Krishna has designed this material world. 84 lakhs. Jalaja Navalakshani. Jala means water. Aja means those who are born and live in the water. So those species of life that are Jalaja, they are Navalakshani, 9 lakhs. So 9 lakh species of aquatics, of aquatic dresses are available to choose from. Various kinds of living entities stay in the water. You have tiny fish, big fish, whales, sharks, dolphins, timingala, so many different kinds of fish, octopus, lobsters, crabs, wide variety, 9 lakh species. And then Sthavara Laksha Vinshati. Sthavara means those that are non-moving, like the trees and the plants. So many different varieties of trees and plants. Specifically, the Padma Puran says there are 20 lakh species of trees and plants available to choose from. And then next is Krimaya Rudra Sankhakaha. Krimaya and Rudra means insects and reptiles. So insect dresses and reptile dresses totally put together there are 11 lakh. Flies, mosquitoes, lizards, cockroaches. We just saw some here. So different varieties. And there are 11 lakh varieties of them. And then Pakshinam Dasalakshanam. Pakshi of birds, there are 10 lakhs. 10 lakh species. And then Trinshal Lakshani Pashavaha. Trinshal Lakshani means 30 lakhs. Of Pashava means beasts. So of animals or beasts, there are 30 lakh species available. And Chatur Lakshani Manushaha. 4 lakhs human species of life. So now we have entered this shop. What do we want? Now we already have one of the last category. We have one dress which is one among the 4 lakhs, remember. Now the scientists, they classify the human species as only one human species. They say humans is one species. But actually the Shastra tells us that even among human beings there are so many gradations depending on level of consciousness. There are those who are aborigines. There are those who are mentally retarded. There are those who are spiritually very advanced. There are those who are Rakshasas, Yakshas. There are those who are Devatas. There are people like Brahma who are very high. Even the Devatas, they come under this 4 lakh species. So wide varieties of living entities in the, not only the earthly planetary system, but even in the heavenly planets. They all come under this Chatur Lakshani, Manushaha. So now the choice is, which one do you want? Wide choice is available. So sometimes someone may ask, what is the reason why the so many species of life are made? What is the point? Can anyone answer? Why so many 84 lakh species? We can hardly count in the whole universe. What is the purpose? Yes? Very good, excellent. That is the correct answer. You see, if you want to enjoy, there are millions of ways you can enjoy, isn't it? Suppose there are so many people, every day there are so many pan shops and fruit juice shops here. Every night we see so many cars. People, they want to enjoy, but they're finding shortage of ways, so they will come here, sit and eat some pan or take some fruit juice. Somebody will go to chowpatty, somebody will go to a picture, somebody will sit and watch television, somebody will read a book, somebody will go and loot some shops, somebody will do so many things. Forms of enjoyment are available. Millions and millions. Each person has his own idea of enjoyment. Every Jivatma, every spirit soul is a unique individual with unique desires. No two Jivatmas are identical in terms of desires. We are identical in terms of quality. We are all similar. Potentially we are similar. Just like all human beings are the same, but all human beings are also different. Because you have a different personality, different individuality, and so have I. So like that, each Jivatma is unique. Each Jivatma has separate desires. And each Jivatma has different combination of desires for enjoyment. It is not that you have only one. It is. For each person, he wants to enjoy different permutations and combinations. So Lord Krishna is perfect. When we say that he is fulfilling all desires of the Jivatma, we are saying that he has the power and ability to fulfill every small desire that you have. So these different 84 lakh species of life, they represent different permutations and combinations of the desires for enjoyment that the Jivatmas have. Think of any desire for enjoyment, anything you like, and there will be appropriate body for you. Just like if you go to a big cloth shop, what is the difference between a small cloth shop and a big cloth shop? In a small cloth shop, there is very less variety. He will have only cloth from one company and maybe only shirting cloth. He won't have suiting. But if there's a big shop, he'll have wide variety of everything and you can choose. So also Lord Krishna has given you perfect choice. What is your desire? Do you want to sleep? You like to sleep a lot? Okay, come on, ideal body, body of a bear. In the bear's body you can sleep for long months, 6 months in a year you can sleep. So ideal environment, you want that, you can get that. You want to eat meat, you like to eat flesh, okay, appropriate body is available. Come on, take the tiger's body. There are many people who like to swim. They swim the Park Strait, they swim the English Channel, and whole life they want to be champion swimmers. If you like the water and like to swim, appropriate body is available. Take the body of fish and swim to your heart's content. There are some people who like to fly, aeroplanes, gliders, aero modeling. Whole life is revolved around that. You want to fly? Why fly with danger of crashing? Anytime so much danger, something wrong with the engine, some hijacker will come, so many problems. So might as well get body of a bird and then fly. Nobody is going to stop you. No problem of hijacking, no terrorists. So get the body of a bird and fly. So like that, every species of life is perfect. That today we are seeing every magazine that you see, our culture is becoming so degraded all over the world. Every magazine will have some photograph, even our hoardings and advertisements will have different degrees of people who are devoid of clothing, different degrees of undress. So all these people are headed for a tree's body, because the tree does not have any clothes. A tree standing there without any clothes. So if someone has a desire to expose the body, yes, come on, take the body of a tree. Fulfill your desire to your heart's content all through the hot summer seasons, through the rainy seasons, through the winter, cold, snow. Go on and do it. So in this way, each species of life represents a certain degree or certain way of enjoyment possible for you. And even within these broad categories, there are so many ways, even subtly, where you can differ in your enjoyment. So even there are 20 lakh species of trees and plants. So even if you want to sleep, there are different ways. So there are different kinds of bears. There are polar bears and there are ordinary bears and there are so many kinds of bears. So many different kinds of fish also. So among each broad category of life, like birds and beasts, you will still have so many species. So just please try to understand the perfection of Lord Krishna's creation. How perfectly he has made these different bodies to suit just the kind of body you need according to your desires. In modern times, the term custom made or tailor made is used, isn't it? Tailor made for you. A tailor, he will measure you and he will give you the shirt or pant exactly according to your measurement. So Lord Krishna is giving a body exactly according to your measurement of desires. And he'll give you just that, no more, nothing less, nothing more. So this is why there are so many different species of life. So in other words, we are going to get in the next life the particular body that we have desired. Just like when you have a dress, you have to purchase it, is it not? When you go to a cloth shop, you have to purchase these dresses. So what is the price you have to pay to purchase it? You have to pay some money. So for these things, what is the price you have to pay? Your karma, your activities. So by your activity, you are qualifying to receive a particular kind of body. If you have lived like an animal, you will get an animal body. If you have lived like a human being, you will get a human body. So the karma or the activities you perform is the price you have to pay. Good karma, better grade of body you will get. Bad karma, lower grade of body. Sometimes the body is also compared to an apartment or a house. So you may rent a house, let's say for some time. These days, because of the tenancy problems, so people will give you leave and license arrangement only for 11 months, correct? And after 11 months, they say, we will renew your agreement. We will not let you stay more than 11 months. After 11 months, you have to find another place. So like that, then you go and you find another place. But to find another place, by that time, suppose you have got an increment in your salary and your company is giving you more salary and more house rent allowance, then you will say, okay, now because I have done well in my office, I can afford to pay more rent and go to better house. So because your purchasing power is more, you can go to a bigger house now. So next time you rent a house, you go to 2-bedroom flat. But somehow if you have lost your job, then when the time goes, you have to go to some other lower grade of flat. So we are changing flats, changing apartments in this way, from one apartment to another apartment. No landlord is going to let you stay permanently. So similarly, Lord Krishna is the landlord. He is not going to let you stay permanently in any one body. So we are seeking what kind of body, what kind of house? Ownership house. You know what is the meaning of ownership house? Ownership house means then that is yours. Nobody can kick you out anymore. That means permanent residence. No more shifting from this flat to that flat to next flat. All the time anxious. Now which locality, how much to pay, nothing. But if you want ownership flat, then you have to pay a lot of money. These days, even to get tenancy flat, so many problems of pagadi and this and that, right? So ownership flat means you have to pay so much more of a price. Similarly, If you want permanent residence without changing material bodies, what do you have to do? You have to pay very high price to get spiritual body. If you get your spiritual body, Satchidananda body, then no more coming back to this material world and changing apartments, changing bodies and dresses again and again and again. But because the price of purchase is much more than the price of the rent, so also we have to put in that much more effort. That much more work will be required. So that is why the spiritual life is more difficult. We should not take spiritual life cheaply, thinking that I can achieve success of life just by going to temple once in a while, or just by as a formality doing some spiritual life. No. Unless spiritual life becomes your life and soul, unless you make it your number one priority in life, you will never be able to pay the price to attain that spiritual body, that permanent residence. Just like when you change jobs. You change jobs and then finally you retire. You retire and say, now I have it enough. Whenever a person is retiring from a job, usually by the end of it he is so frustrated, but he is entangled because he has so many bills to pay, children's education, so he cannot give up the job, although he is frustrated with the job. But eventually when the time comes for retirement, then he will say, okay, now I am free, I can rest. Now no more going, no tension, no anxiety, my permanent place I have achieved, now I can stay at home and enjoy. So similarly, we have also been going through so many different material bodies and suffered so much in so many different conditions, so many different bodies, so many different planets. And we are looking for a permanent place of rest where we can rest and be peaceful. That rest will come only in the spiritual world when we regain our spiritual body. So we are pilgrims and we are going towards that ultimate destination where we can retire from all these unnecessary, harmful material activities and regain a life of bliss and happiness eternally. So the price has to be very high and we have to be willing to pay it. It is said in English, no pain, no gain. You have heard that saying? If you're not willing to undergo some pain, then there cannot be any gain for you. Every day we are undergoing so much pain in our business, in our jobs, in our household affairs, in our personal affairs, so much pain. This pain is called tapasya. So why not undergo tapo divyam? Why not undergo tapasya for the sake of obtaining God, so that ultimately we can stop this dress changing business once and for all and get our spiritual dress. So these different dresses are available to us, and it is not only on earth. These different varieties of dresses are to be found all over the universe. There is life in every portion of the universe, although we may not have the information. If you go out into the street and look up at the night sky, of course you cannot see much of the night sky now because of so many lights and so much pollution and everything. But you will still see so many stars, planets, so many things. So please know that every planet has life on it. Life can exist in any atmosphere. Now, in recent times, there have been so many so-called expeditions to the moon and here and there, and scientists are coming back with the information that there is no life here, no life there, but they have not been able to detect life. But that does not mean that there is no life. They are talking in terms of life as they know it, or life as we know it on this material world. But it is not necessary that life as we know it here in this planet Earth is going to be exactly the same as life everywhere else on Earth. Just like in this country we have a certain kind of features, certain complexion, certain build of body, certain way of looking. It doesn't mean that everyone all over the world looks the same. The Chinese, they are yellow in skin, they have slanting eyes, they have straight hair. The Africans, they are dark in color, they have curly hair, they have thick lips. So many different descriptions of bodies are there. So just because in India we have this kind of body doesn't mean everywhere in the planet all the bodies are similar. We can see the variations even here. Similarly, there are different forms of life existing all through the universe on different planets. The Jivatma has been called Sarvagataha. Sarvagataha means it is all pervading. All pervading in the sense that the Jivatma can pervade the whole of creation. It can exist in the earth, it can exist on the moon, it can exist on any planet. You see, sometimes when we want to make our drinking water safe, we boil our water because we think that all the germs will get killed. isn't it? Some germs get killed, but there are still many germs that are alive, even in the boiled water. And in fact, modern science is telling us that there are many germs that thrive at higher temperature. In fact, there are many living entities that live in the fire. So this is not surprising. And similarly, there are living entities that are living in very, very cold conditions. Very cold. Even in ice, there are still some germs which do not die. Then again, there are living entities who are living at the bottom of the ocean. At the bottom of the ocean, the pressure, can you imagine the pressure of the water? Just imagine a few miles of water on top of you. Sometimes we think water is so heavy. If you lift a bucket of water, how heavy it is. So if you put that bucket of water on your head, it's a lot of weight. So just imagine that bucket, if it were 1 mile long, how much weight will be on your head. But at that pressure also, there are living entities living under the sea. We have not even been able to discover the different species of life, the different dresses that are available even on this planet. What to speak of different planets? Even here, we have not understood all the species of life. So species are living in the Himalayas, on the top of the mountains where there is less oxygen. Species of life are living in the fire. They are living in the ice. They are living at the bottom of the sea. They are living in the air. They are living inside the mud. Everywhere there is a Jivatma and there are different species of life. But according to the particular condition or environment in which they are living, they have a different dress or a different body. Just like the fish that are living in the water, they don't have this kind of body of 2 hands and 2 legs. They have a body that has gills. They breathe through the mouth. So different kind of body for that environment. The birds who live in the air, they have an appropriate body for the air environment. The human beings who live on land have a different environment. The plants that are growing in the forest have different bodily features. And the plants that are growing in the desert, like the cactus, they have different bodily features. So according to the environment in which the living entity gets a particular body and species, the body will be different. So therefore, even in the different planets, we find that if you want to go there, you have to develop another body. You cannot go from one planet to another planet simply by some mechanical arrangement of rockets and spaceships, as the scientists believe. It is not possible like that. You have to, by your karma, purchase that body to be able to be born on that planet in that particular body. Just like if you want to go from here, let us say to America, you have to get a visa. At Warden Road, they're sitting there very strict. And long queue of people from 4 o'clock in the morning, you will see everyone wants to get the visa. Very difficult to get. Because that is like the heavenly planet of this earth. It is like the heaven on earth. Everybody thinks once I go there, then my life's ambitions will be fulfilled. Isn't it? That is like heaven. Similarly, in this material world, there are many people who are aspiring for Swargaloka, heavenly planets. So, if you want to go to the heaven on earth, you have to go so much difficulty, visa and so many problems, and green card, you have to send some relatives there and they will sponsor you. So many difficulties. So, is it possible that we can go to the heavenly planets like moon and sun just like that without any visa? We have to purchase the ticket, and that ticket is your karma. These higher planets also you have to purchase by your pious activity, by your punya. But the dresses you get there will be different. Just like when you go to America, if it is winter, it is very cold there. So you have to take warm clothing. You have to take sweater, muffler, overcoat, this, that, so many things. But in India, it is not so cold in Bombay. So with just shirt, pant, you can go everywhere. So depending on the location, the dress is different. If you go to Greenland, you have to wear even thicker clothing. So like that, if you have to be born on the higher planets, on the other planets, you have to get appropriate body. Even on the sun, there are living entities. And the president of the sun planet is the sun god, Vivaswan. In fact, Lord Krishna, he said to Arjuna that Imam Vivashvate Yogam Proktavan Aham Avyayam Vivashwan Manave Prahor Manur Ikshvakave Bravit. He says, originally I instructed this Bhagavad Gita to the sun god Vivaswan, who stays in the sun and who is the president of the sun planet. And then he instructed to Manu, Swayambhuva Manu, Vaivashvata Manu. And then this Manu instructed to Ikshvaku, his son. And so on, the parampara has come. So there are living entities in the sun. But their bodies are not like our bodies. If the earth is to go even a few 1,000 miles or a few more couple of thousand miles closer to the sun, we will all be burnt to ashes. So this kind of body you cannot live in the sun, but there are certain kinds of bodies made of fire in which you can live in the sun. So these dresses, Krishna's creation is so wonderful, so unique, so mind-boggling. Just by studying this, we can appreciate the glory of Lord Krishna. How wonderful he has designed his whole creation. So in this way, we should know that all facilities are available for us to fulfill whatever desire we want. Right from enjoying the life of an aquatic or a tree, right up to the human form. But the human form is a very, very important human life form, because this is the life form in which you can decide whether you want to take another apartment and keep on paying rent and be a tenant all your life, or whether you want ownership, or whether you want to go back to the spiritual world, back to Godhead. This is the choice that we all have to make. And this is possible only in human life. And therefore it is said, Brahmanda Brahmite Kono Bhagyavan Jeev, Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Bij. That the Jiva Atma has wandered through many, many different species of life, in different species on different planets. But some fortunate spirit soul, Kono Bhagyavan Jeev, gets the mercy of Guru and Krishna, by the result of which that Bhakti Lata Bij, or the seed of devotion to Lord Krishna, is sown in the heart, and then he can begin his process for regaining his original life in the spiritual world. So this human life is meant for that. We have to know finally, once and for all, shed this material body, and we have to put in all efforts to make this life the very last life. This should be the very last dress we are going to change. We don't want to change more dresses now. We had enough of changing dresses. We want a permanent dress now that is always joyful, that is always a source of pleasure. So we have been transmigrating in so many different species, and now is a crucial opportunity. And the easiest way to actually come to this understanding is to take to the process of pure devotion. And the way for bhakti in this age is to chant the holy name of the Lord, particularly Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So I have a few pictures to show you, just by which we can understand nicely how this process of transmigration is taking place. I gave you the story earlier, I gave you the point earlier about the two birds on the tree. Both these pictures will show you, you can see the two birds on a tree. One bird represents the Jivatma, and the other bird represents the Paramatma. The Jivatma is trying to enjoy the fruits of the tree, which represents your good or bad karma. According to whether the karma is good or bad, you get a sweet fruit or a bitter fruit. And the other bird, that is the Paramatma, is simply watching. So this is about the soul and the super soul. And here you can see how the dresses are being changed. You can see here that it is as if the person is unzipping, just like when you have a jacket and you unzip the jacket. So the soul is unzipping this body, changing the dress. He is shedding this one body, he is getting a new body, and as the body grows old, again he sheds it, gets a new body, and comes on. And so on, this cycle has been going on, various species of life. So this way the transmigration is going on. Further, you can see also here, again you can see different species of life, how the Jivatma is getting right from the human species, right up to the animal species, the bird species. So we have been through all these different species of life. We don't remember it. Please remember, when one cockroach came, we were all looking at it with so much of disgust. But please remember, we have also been in that body. We have also experienced that. All the ghastly forms of these species also we have been through. So we don't want to go through that business again. And so this is called the wheel of samsara, the cycle of birth and death. The wheel where we are constantly changing bodies. And according to your karma, you are going to decide your next body. And this karma is going on. So already the next body is being prepared. Those who are killing animals, for instance, will have to take on that next body. Just like here in this famous picture. You are seeing a man who's about to kill a cow. And what do you see here? That already he is getting the face of a cow, and the cow is getting the face of a human. What does it mean? that they are going to change dresses. Because by his karma, the man is killing a cow, is committing a great sin. It is said in the Shastra that if you kill a cow, you will have to take birth as a cow as many times as there are number of hairs on the body of that cow. So if you kill, or kill means even if you eat, even if you transport that meat, even if you cook that meat, so you are getting implicated if you're doing these activities. And that many times you have to get that particular body. So this is all very dangerous business. We simply want a life of Sat, Chit and Ananda. So we want to revive our original dress, which is in seed form right now. And that is the process of Krishna consciousness. So we will stop here. Are there any questions? We have 5 minutes more before the darshan. So I've left 5 minutes for question answers. And there is a wonderful exhibit here that somebody has made. Unfortunately, it's got a little pressed. But one devotee has made a exhibit. I will pass it around later after 9 o'clock. You please see this exhibit. She has made here like a garment shop. And there are various hangers, like you have in your wardrobe, in your cupboard. And each hanger represents a different dress or a cloth. And you can choose from your wardrobe whichever you want. You want body of reptile? Yeah, take body of scorpion. So pick from your wardrobe according to your desire. So you can later on see this. It is very nice. A lot of effort has gone into this.